My husband and I have been married a little over 37 years. And when we were in college and dating, I found myself pregnant. I was 19 years old. And although I would say I had a pro-life perspective and was against legalized abortion, fear became the overriding emotion at that time. And tragically, because of that fear, I obtained an abortion. So I can speak for myself in saying that I was afraid of not being able to provide on a long-term basis for our child. I was afraid that my boyfriend, now my husband, would have felt coerced into marriage and would grow to resent that. I feared in a very big way hurting my parents who were so good to me. I feared being a burden to them in a financial way, in a physical way by having to live with them, and in an emotional way as I believed they would have been very distraught. Those were the big fears, but the fears of the minutia were that how would I have health insurance? Who would watch our child if we had to work? And as I was 19 years old, I had the vain fear of what people would think of me and what people would think of our marriage starting that way. And, you know, it was 1981, so the mindset of the society was much different than it is today.
Well, my initial feelings were fear and not knowing how to actually handle the situation, as the relationship really wasn't at the point where we knew that we were going to spend our lives together. And I admittedly put the burden and the decision in my wife's hands, my girlfriend at the time, and said, whatever you think is the right thing to do, which when I think of that in hindsight was completely unfair. And I in no way protected her as I should have, being the man in the relationship.
I know that within 10 minutes after the abortion, I just wanted to go back. I received clarity right away, and I knew it was the wrong decision. And I missed that baby instantly, and it was gut-wrenching. When faced with a pain that's actually too hard to face the reality of that, human beings have a great capacity for pushing things down. And this became my lifelong endeavor from that point forward, to push down the loss of that child. Different people have different ways of doing that. Obviously, drugs, alcohol, eating disorders. But each way is just an endeavor to suppress having to face the reality of that decision.
So as the man in the relationship, moving forward was very difficult for me. There was a lot of pressure from within the relationship to make it work after the abortion. For me, drinking became excessive. I was involved with other women, and the relationship really struggled. I tried to suppress and forget about the abortion. However, my wife, girlfriend at the time, who was clearly in pain, wanted to talk about it, which caused a lot of stress in the relationship and a lot of fighting.
Well, we did end up getting married 2 years later, but the relationship was very painful. The fact that we survived was really against all odds. 80% of couples that experience an abortion don't make it. And if we had gotten divorced, I don't even know if I would have connected the dots to the abortion, because there was so much suppression going on that there was just pain. There was a lot of pain. So I think it just all became very blurred. But after we began healing, it became really clear where our problems actually originated from.
And for me, it was a very heavy weight that we carried around in our relationship for a very long time. At one point, we spoke about separation, my wife more so than me, but I wanted nothing of that, probably because it would have meant failure, and it was a failure that would have been caused because of the abortion. I truly believe that.
So 21 years after the abortion, by the grace of God, I was led to a Rachel's Vineyard retreat, which was just a really beautiful beginning to a healing journey. I've continued with the Project Rachel that the diocese offers, and also the Sisters of Life, a religious order. They offer a healing program as well that I've been involved in. And this is a healing journey that is lifelong, and we're just so grateful to be on it and that God led us towards it. But it is a lifelong journey. The loss of a child, and especially under these circumstances, is a struggle, but we do feel much peace as we journey along.
We had two marriages, the one before Rachel's Vineyard and the one before we turned to our faith, and the one after. And the two situations, the two marriages, so to speak, are so different. One was filled with anxiety, anger, fighting, and after the Rachel's Vineyard and coming back to our Catholic faith, we found true happiness and a lot of bliss. Not always blissful, but a lot of bliss.
Well, as my husband and I are part of the pro-life community, I do want to say, first off, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. I know sometimes, especially nowadays, it would seem that some prayers are not being answered by the pro-life community, but their prayers led us to healing. And we can't thank them enough for that. I also would like to say that it's always important to remember, regardless of where you are, whether you're in church or at a pro-life event or sidewalk counseling, there's a good chance there are people among you that have had abortions. So the language needs to be one of compassion, always, because none of us know where other people are coming from. And also, with the sidewalk counseling, which we've been part of, we haven't counseled so much, but we've been there, been present. Sometimes there are people with good intentioned hearts that their language is a little aggressive when the people are driving into the parking lot for abortions. And we know they're trying to stop them from going into the abortion clinic. But I know that on the day of our abortion, I don't think that would have stopped us. What would have stopped us is truly people saying, we can help you. We really can help you. Because I would say, based on my own experience and knowing a lot of people that are post-abortive through the ministries we've been involved in, nobody really wants to be there. Nobody really wants to be having this abortion. No woman really wants to do this. So if the support is there, and they really can feel it in those moments before they drive into the abortion clinic, there is a chance to turn them around. But I just kindness and love, I think, has to always be the way.
And what I would say to the pro-life community is very similar. Thank you for all they do, but please be kind in your approach, in your quest to save babies. Like we said before, we believe fear is the primary motivation behind an abortion experience. And kindness and love, especially during sidewalk counseling, seems to me to be the only approach. And that's really, really important.
But thank you so much for all you do. And it's just beautiful to see.